see, the rum we're going to talk about today is Diplomatico from Venezuela. I would like to first start off by saying thank you to Diplomatico for all of these products and to Diplomani. And thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to taste all of these side by side, create cocktails. And now I get the chance to share it with all of you. So thank you so much. Now let's get started. So first, if you could please hit the subscribe and like button and then stay up to date with rum cation. The history of Diplomatico began in 1959, establishment of the distillery where Diplomatico is produced. In 2002, that distillery would be put up for sale, including its assets such as rum brand Diplomatico. In that year, Venezuelan entrepreneurs with experience in spirits would purchase this company, which would later be called Destilerías Unidas S.A. Diplomatico initially was only sold in local markets. Now it's distributed in over 80 countries. Ron de Venezuela DOC. DOC stands for Denomination of Controlled Origin. So Diplomatico, along with other products such as wine, tend to have this designation, DOC. Main characteristics from their specific geographic environment. And DOC designation is placed to guarantee authenticity of origin and quality. Protecting its environment is part of the company's core values. They have developed a capacity to recycle 100% of their solid waste and transform residual water in organic fertilizer. Destilerías Unidas S.A. is located at the foot of the Andes Mountains to be closer to the main processing sugar plants, along with the purest waters for rum production. Diplomatico is the essence of the nobleman on the label, Don Juancho Nieto Melendez. People say that he lived near the region where Diplomatico is produced. He explored and traveled, always seeking to learn more about traditional beverages and learning about the climate and its influence on spirits. He was very passionate about flavors. He had a collection of beverages known as the Ambassador's Reserves. He would be more than pleased with Diplomatico. Now let's start discussing the different expressions Diplomatico carries. So we have Diplomatico Planas, Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva, and Diplomatico Mantuano, which translates to nobleman. First, Diplomatico Planas. Diplomatico Planas is 47% ABV. It is produced from a blend of rums made from molasses and sugarcane honeys. The tropical climate in Venezuela includes sunshine, abundant rainfall, cool nights, constant breezes, all factors conducive to fresh and juicy sugarcane. More commonly, I see rums being produced from molasses and fresh sugarcane juice. In this case, Diplomatico does use a lot of sugarcane honey. Sugarcane honey is a concentrated version of sugarcane juice. It doesn't spoil as quickly, and the resulting rums tend to be more similar to molasses-based rums than agricoles. Diplomatico Planas is a blend of pot still, column, and batch kettle distillation. I hadn't heard of batch kettle, so I did some research on it. It is a batch process like pot distillation. Instead of the swan neck, like in a traditional pot still, it consists of a column attachment to the system to provide the distiller with more control and precision. The laws in Venezuela require all rums to be aged at least 2 years to classify as rum. So Diplomatico Planas is a blend of rums aged between 2 to 6 years. Then charcoal filtered to have a clear appearance and a smooth finish. It is highly recommended for use in daiquiris and tropical drinks. Now let's talk about Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva. Diplomatico Reserva is made up of rums based off mostly from sugarcane honey and distilled in ancient copper pot stills. The rums in the blend are aged up to 12 years in small oak casks. Diplomatico barrels are never opened until the rum reaches bottling maturity. Now let's talk about Diplomatico Mantuano. For up to 8 years in white oak casks, which previously held bourbons and other malt whiskeys. Expression combines pot distillation, batch kettle, and column distillation. With Diplomatico, the rums produced from molasses undergo fermentation for about a day, and their intermediate to complex rums made from sugarcane honeys undergo about 2 days fermentation. When learning about Diplomatico's production and background, I came across that Diplomatico sources molasses with low ash content. So I was very curious to know, how does ash content affect the final product? First, the word ash content doesn't refer to dust literally being on the molasses, but instead refers to the inorganic compounds found in molasses. Ash is composed of essential minerals, but can also have some toxic minerals like mercury and lead. Too high of an ash content would result in molasses being too acidic. I feel like now we have a pretty good foundation on Diplomatico. Now the great thing about today is I'm going to do a comparative tasting. I'm going to pour 3 glasses with each of the Diplomatico expressions, and we can do a comparative tasting side by side and see what we pick up on. If you have any Diplomatico at home, taste as well. And thank you again, Diplomatico, for the beautiful glassware. So, let's start with Diplomatico Planas. And I'm gonna have some water ready, just so that we can add a few drops later to open it up after doing the first tasting. Let's start off with Diplomatico Planas. So it has a clear, very clear color. Let's see. Mouth open, just. And this one is, again, 47% ABV. Don't put it too close. I definitely get almost like I get coconut notes. Definitely would be great in tropical drinks. Coconut is what I get a lot of from the nose. But also like a creaminess. It's like the coconut flesh. Now the first one was just to awaken your palate. Let's take another sip. So I'm getting like baking spice, also like a pepperiness on the tongue that's lasting a long time. I'm also getting now banana, still more of those coconut notes, but it's like I'm salivating a lot from the planas. Like there's a really good acidity in this rum. Okay, so rinse. Okay. Now let's move on to the Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva. Again, it has, if you can see that, it's like really deep amber. See, I get some coffee notes and also caramel, vanilla. Let's taste. But also like super overripe mango, maybe some anise, lots of caramel. Yeah, you can still feel, you get spice, but also a lot of woody notes. It feels like it has a rich body, but then it has like the wood, the spice, some acidity, and then a dryness to it as well. Now let's move on to Mantuano. Oh yeah, even after rinsing, I'm still getting that spice. Now let's remember the Reserva has rums aged up to 12 years, while the Mantuano has rums aged up to 8 years. Let's give it a little nose. I feel like the Mantuano has like dried fruit and also like cigar notes. Kind of like a little bit of a smokiness to it. Let's give it a taste. It's really like, yeah, definitely like that dried fruit, minerality. Finishes dry, I'm getting a lot of spice. I'm like leaning towards like cinnamon, like kind of like those cinnamon red hots. Now with the comparative tasting, it's also nice to kind of go back, retaste, reanalyze the others, and maybe pick up on something you might have not picked up on before. Let's add a little water. So now with the Planas, now that I've added some water to open it up, I'm picking up more like a pepperiness, but also some herbaceous notes. Let's go. The Reserva and Mantuano are both 40% ABV. I feel like now I'm getting more coffee, but they're all very different, very unique, very beautiful. I've come up with 3 different cocktails to highlight each expression. Let's head over to make some cocktails. So I have 3 special cocktails for you all today. The first one I'll make for you is my tropical Diplomatico Planas old-fashioned variation that I'm gonna call Planear el Futuro. So I took Diplomatico Planas and infused it with toasted coconut flakes to complement those creamy coconut notes already in the rum, but add some toasty notes to it. So we're going to start with 1 dash of Angostura bitters, 1 drop of mole bitters, 1 drop goes a long way. And I'm going to add a 1/4 ounce of one of my favorite cherries, Tío Pepe Fino, 1/4 ounce. And then we're going to do a 1/4 ounce of banana syrup. Banana and coconut will go really nice together. And then 1 ounce and 3/4 of the toasted coconut infused Diplomatico Planas. We're gonna stir. Glass already with ice. I really wanted to use a Diplomatico Planas to make this a really light, refreshing, kind of summer old-fashioned. And then as garnish, toasted coconut flakes on top, just a little bit. And instead of a lemon or orange twist, I really wanted lime zest. I think that would go really well with coconut and tropical notes, rim it. Very light, citrusy, bright. I really wanted this to be a really bright old-fashioned. There we go. Cheers, everyone. This is the first cocktail, Planeando el Futuro, using Diplomatico Planas. There's minerality from the Tío Pepe Fino sherry. You get the banana and the coconut go really well together, and that creamy texture from the Planas. And I just think that little bit of lime zest really brightens and lightens this up. So the next cocktail I'm gonna make is called El Gran Senor. This is my flip cocktail variation, meaning there will be a whole egg. I wanted to really use all the ingredients I really love. I'm gonna use Braulio Amaro, a bit of a Mr. Black coffee liqueur, also Diplomatico Mantuano, cinnamon, and I really wanted to honor Don Juancho. Now, so for this cocktail, we're just going to start off with half a teaspoon of simple syrup as a binder. For my flips, I do like to use milliliters. You have more measurements to work with. I'm going to do only 5 milliliters of Braulio Amaro because it really does go a long way. Graciousness, complexity. I'm also going to do 5 milliliters of coffee liqueur. That's going to give us a layer of bitterness that really went well with the Braulio. So we're going to do 40 milliliters of our Dulce de Leche-Coconut mix, 50 milliliters of Diplomatico Mantuano, and now we're going to add our whole egg, crack in a separate tin. A chilled rocks glass, gonna add some ice. Gonna add some ice. Gonna double strain. And now our little smoked cinnamon cigar garnish. Give it that smoky element. Cheers, everyone. Traditional Venezuelan drink, Tizana, different cut up fruits and juices, kind of similar to sangria, has grenadine, but no wine. So I made a batch. I did mango acid, I also cut up some fresh pineapple, I also did strawberry infused Diplomático reserva, along with pineapple syrup. Get some fruits in here. I'm gonna top it off with some club soda. A little star anise. Really refreshing. I call this one Vacaciones Exclusiva.